Hello, hello, anyone there? Anyone there? Hello? Yeah, I guess someone's there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is, I believe I may have, no, it's game analysis. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is game analysis number 1, and this is a game from European Star Battle Tournament number 3, which is summer tournament between Fubu Topsy and, I actually don't know what this team is called, but Static DST Vetter, so it's probably Supernova. I guess, yeah, probably. If not, then I apologize. But it's not that important because I'm gonna be doing the game analysis, analyzing the Fubu Topsy side, which is red team here, red Terran, and in this series I'm gonna be only focusing on one team game analysis. So the whole thing about certain abilities being picked, certain ships and stuff like this. So I'll just introduce those players quickly so you'll know who's playing. For red team, Grand Admiral; for Ladder, SCV Rush, Helldiver, the Enormous Sea and Avogadro; and for blue team it's Arrow, Fetter, DST, Static, Badman and Giru. So let's quickly take a look at ship composition. Now we have 2 carriers, which is obvious choice because almost all ship compositions nowadays include 2 carriers in them, or at least one for Energy Denial and Vortex. So both carriers opening with 2 range, 2 speed, because they are 1.6 and second one is 1.6 as you can see, and 1 laser. So they feared that Supernova might open with heavy fighters, with fighter cheese. Now this is ridiculous. But they open with missile cheese, so the predictions failed. Fighter cheese, level 5 fighters, no range, only speed. But this is missile cheese, level 5 missiles, no range, only speed, and this is gonna fail for them. But predictions were really not too good. But it doesn't really matter at this stage of the game. You either pick level 1 lasers or level 1 missiles, or even level 1 scepters if you want to, interceptors if you want to deny farm for the other team. But it's fairly standard, so it's a very standard opening from those carriers. You definitely know why they picked them, because they are very powerful ships in mid to late game with Vortex, and feedback is a very good spell in early game. So that's definitely a must. 2 carriers. Now another ship, let's actually get a missile load. It's a battlecruiser opening the same way. Battlecruiser is a very important ship too. It's gonna be an energy boat with lockdown probably. Well, especially after, I'm gonna pause it. Sometimes I have to. Now let's quickly take a look at this composition. Why battlecruiser would be useful here? Well, first of all, energy denial lockdown. So we have 1 DST, 2 Badmoon, 3 Jiru, 4 Static, 4 ships that you can launch lockdown on. So Helldiver will be definitely a useful ship here, in addition to the Enormous Sea and SCV Rush having feedback. And lockdown is even more powerful than feedback. It grows stronger as the game progresses because it stops your energy regen for a while, and you can't use any abilities. So if you have 200 energy, it doesn't matter because you don't regen energy that fast. But if you have 600 energy, it makes a difference. Now let's continue. The same opening for Helldiver, so lasers, anti-fighter cheese opening. Very nice. Avogadro opening, definitely a Leviathan. And now a Leviathan is a heavy DPS ship. So this composition is fairly balanced, ladies and gentlemen. It's fairly balanced because as much as those 3 ships, 1, 2, 3, provide energy and energy denial that is needed for staying alive, and you may even say that you won't stick a nuke or a muke rather You won't stick a nuke in there when energy denying your opponents with only 3 ships. But at the same time, they won't stick a nuke either unless they will have like five energy ships, which is pretty ridiculous. Because you don't have enough DPS usually to do anything. Now, do I have my... wait, do I have my... no, okay, I thought I had my stream launched for a second. Okay, back to the game. So, Avogadro, Leviathan providing DPS, that's definitely a DPS ship with Frenzy, with Corruption, providing additional spells, Rapid Regen, so a little bit tanky. We'll see how it will be played out. But from the upgrades, the constant mutation is here, but from the upgrades at this point you can definitely tell that Avogadro is trying to go for a missile boat, for a Frenzy. Generally it's Frenzy Leviathan, because he's gonna try to maximize the damage output and he's not gonna be tanking too much, so Rapid Regen won't be that important this time. But Frenzy and Corruption, they're going to be very, very powerful and very important spells. So it's really good that they know that they have those 3 ships. They know that they can energy deny their enemies, and they definitely feel quite safe now. But the ship compositions are fairly well, they're almost the same. I mean, the only difference is Arbiter for red team and Raven for blue team. So you can say like the same about blue team, but blue team, they need, now that they have level 5 missiles, they need to invest. Now let's pause it for a second. You know, I want to ask you a question, a very simple question. I'll give you like 20 seconds to answer this. You know, just do it for yourself. Why does red team have an edge over blue team? Now, don't look at the farming tab, because I don't even know if they have. Yeah, they have a little bit of advantage, but it's not the point. Okay, just try to answer this question. Why? Where does the edge lie for the red team now? Well, okay, I guess you have your answer in your brain somewhere, but the answer is very simple. Those 3 ships, the most important energy denial ships that will give you the edge, well, for blue team they open with level 5 missiles. Now, level 5 missiles won't be very useful in energy walls, right? Plus, well, you have one support ship, an Arbiter or a Raven, so it's fairly even. I mean, PDDs and force fields, then they kind of cancel out each other. If you can place force fields and PDDs nicely, it's fairly even. But those 3 ships, they have to farm way more, because first of all they need to get the range up. As you can see, the range is 8 on missiles for DST, level 9, well, that's fairly good for Statish, and level 9 for Bad Moon. Now, what does it mean? Well, basically you usually tend to go level 10s, but at least level 9 if you go for energy boats. So this guy has to basically waste just to you know, be on level terms with red team's ships. It's got to waste, I mean, you start with level 7, so it's 50, 100. Well, he needs to waste around 100 minerals on his range, I believe. So it's 100 minerals. It's very important they have the edge, because, well, they don't need missiles, because there will be PDDs and force fields. Okay, those missile boats, they are not really missile boats, they will be energy boats, right? So they don't need missiles. So they definitely have the edge. They don't need to waste that many minerals to get back on level terms, and you know, they have level 5, so they can potentially deal more damage. But now to get more energy and stuff, and definitely for the range. That's where red team's edge lies. And now last ship, because we're at minutes 40 seconds into the game, and oh no, there's Nabita too, so almost the last ship. After that, a Guardian. Now, what's the reason to take a Guardian? Well, more DPS. There are two styles of playing a Guardian. You are either a Guardian missile boat, and it's a very good style of play against armored destroyers, but there are no armored destroyers on the field, no destroyers at all actually. So I suppose that this Guardian is gonna go for Brewlings. He's already got 12 range on Brewlings, so he opened 2 range, 2 speed. Excuse me. 2 range, 2 speed, 1 missile damage. So it's really good. It's really standard opening, just like a missile boat opening for those carriers and battle cruisers. But this time for Guardian, and it works for Guardian too. So 2 ships to go heavy DPS, but it's a very balanced build because you have 3 energy denial ships. And you have an arbiter, you have a support ship, and now you can see those force fields being launched, and they know, well, red team knows that blue team doesn't have any energy denial yet. Some funny spells, but like PDD or war, but they have absolutely no energy denial at this point, so it's like 11 minutes in the game. Grand Admiral with the force fields is definitely a very good ship now. Now there's feedback and knockdown on red team's ships. As I've said before, this is where the edge lies. I mean, if you take a look at farming tab, well, there's quite a bit of difference, but not that much. Let's see, SCV Rush. Let's just compare the missile boats. The Enormous Sea, SCV Rush, and the third one is Helldiver, I believe. Yes. Okay. The Enormous Sea, 101. SCV Rush, 110. So these three guys. So it's around 100 to 330, around 340, let's say. Okay, those guys, Bad Moon, DST, and Statish. Now, Bad Moon, DST, and Statish, they have around, well, 300, let's say. 300 is fair, I guess. So, first of all, they got pushed because they picked wrong upgrades in the beginning. You almost never want to go for level 5 missiles because it's almost never useful, especially if your enemies have an Arbiter or a Raven. Now, second thing why you don't go for missiles is that you lack range to use them, so you have to dive in and you get damaged, and it doesn't really work. It works if you are a destroyer. Anyway, I'm not analyzing blue team here. So, as you can see, even though they have fairly even farm, I mean 40 is not that much. It doesn't make that much of a difference yet, having 40 being 40 behind 3 ships to 3 ships. But let's see, this carrier, well, 9 range, 1.6. What did he pick? No energy denial, Statish. Feedback 275. Bad Moon, no lockdown. Compared to red team's ships, lockdown, feedback, and second feedback. This is where the edge lies. This is where red team has the edge over blue team. Now, you can say, how do I exactly know that I have the edge, and how do I see my edge? How do I find it? I have to select all the ships. Yes, you have to select your opponent's ships and to watch for any unusual upgrades. Because, well, I'm gonna do it tomorrow on build analysis, and I'm gonna do it constantly on build analysis for different ships and different builds. But when it comes to builds, there are some certain builds that are very commonly used, like I said, for a carrier. The opening, I'm just gonna pick the opening. Like, you open with 2 speed, 2 range, and 1 laser, or one missile, or level 1 interceptors. Now, if you see someone not doing this, that can either mean they are doing something cheesy, or they are doing something wrong. Well, usually it's the second option, unless it's a really high level in-house and someone is trying to cheat you. But usually they are doing something wrong, and when you are playing, you just want to select those ships. You know what you're doing. Okay, you are, for example, a missile boat. You are a guardian too. Oh, a missile boat guardian. That's interesting. But you have certain upgrades, and then you take a look at your opponents, and you can tell that they have more upgrades. For example, on missiles, and you just smile and you just say to your team, guys, we have an arbiter, and they are going for missiles, so they will have no energy denial if we'll have the same amount of farm. That's fairly simple. I mean, you have to get used to it. But once you get a hang of it, and once you know which builds are really working, you definitely will know where your edge lies. And this is where red team's edge lies. I mean, apart from obvious edges like out-farming your opponents, being in 5v6, 6v5 situation, or 6v4 situation after a kill. We're talking about even situations. Now, what is red team doing? They are playing it wisely. They are not rushing it. They know that this Guardian, well, every missile dealing 290 damage, so 290 every 2 seconds, but there's a counter. Just look at this, it's energy denied. It doesn't have any spells, but it doesn't matter that much. It's just energy denied, and we won't have energy now. Now Statish, Jesus. Now, Jesus. Okay, Statish can actually do something with his feedback, but not if he's alone. I mean, they will find out that the only ship having energy denial is Statish. It's fairly easy. I mean, you just say one of the carriers has feedback, and then you figure out which one, because you have no lockdown whatsoever, and you have only one BC, so you can tell, this BC is useless. And just look at it. They have energy denial. Now they can use scan to look for anything cheesy, or for mines if there would be a destroyer. They can go for a vortex and offload the vortex. Yeah, they can go for interceptors. They are warping in interceptors. They have the spell. They can afford almost everything because they have energy. And if this is going to be played wisely, I haven't watched this game. I'm warning you. But if this is going to be played wisely, I can tell you where the edge lies for red team. This is energy and energy denial. And while not necessarily use your edge to kill your opponents right away, or even in the long run, it pays off. Why? Because if you know your edge, you can use it to push your enemies back. And if you push your enemies back, you're getting more farm. And that's the most obvious edge you can have. Having more farm is the most obvious edge you can have. And usually, if you are way behind in farm, you can't come back into the game. You can try to, but you won't have enough firepower after a while. After like 20 minutes of being constantly out farmed and being constantly pushed back, you are getting so out farmed. Then it's like a miracle. If you have a high level play, you need a miracle to really win this game, because when the games are played on high level, you do not witness many caps lock turns or people suiciding for no reason. Well, there's obviously a reason for that. There's the team communication, you know, using TeamSpeak or Skype or something to communicate nicely. Well, there are some exceptions like rebellions, but he's just pinging, going there, killing everything around, and he's going out, and everyone's happy, especially his team. And his opponents are like, oh. Now, well, okay, I wanted to pause it a little bit earlier, but just watch it. I'm moving my camera this way. I'm moving my screen this way. Why? Because blue team is getting pushed. Now, let's look for a reason for it yet again. How much energy does a Raven have? 375. 350 on Arbiter. So, well, you think, well, so the Raven has more energy. He should be able to place point defense drones more effectively. Right, and that's exactly the point. But red team has more energy. Oh Jesus, only 250. But red team has more energy. Just compare it. Okay, DST 275, Badman 250, Status 275. SCV Rush 350, Helldiver 400 and missile pods. The Enormous C 250, but he's got feedback, so it's fair. So, first of all, those three ships are losing the energy war. That's for sure. Okay, they are losing the energy war. Now, what happens if they are losing the energy war? Well, what are the next targets for energy denial? This ship, the Leviathan, and this ship, the Raven. Not really the Guardian, because it's got anabolic synthesis, so usually you don't want to target a Guardian with your energy denial spells, because, well, if you feedback it, it's gonna just constantly use anabolic synthesis, and while you still drain its health, it's not very effective. Anyway, so this ship and this ship. Now let's quickly use our brains for a second and think what will happen if this game will go on. Well, this Raven has got to stay behind his ships, not in order not to get energy denied, right? Because otherwise he gets locked down and feedback, and well, 375 to 350 is not a huge advantage, but even this slight advantage is gonna go to waste. What does it mean for blue team? Well, it means that his PDDs can be placed around here, maybe around here. They can hold ground, but they can't advance. Why? Well, three ships. You see no missile boats have energy, and he's just running around here, for example. Well, you just dive in, you have your force fields to protect you, and you energy deny him. Poof! There's the edge, the edge is gone. So, energy wars. Winning energy wars, there we go. See that? He's got no energy. And he's been damaged too, because it was a feedback. You can't lock down a Zerg ship. Oh Jesus, that's loud. So, there we go. Now they have to go back. He's trying to protect them with PDDs, point defense drones, but it doesn't work, and they have to back off. And now Status is in trouble. Arrow just stopped here, so they can probably just focus him. And that's exactly what I'm talking about when I say making a huge mistake. This is the wrong team, apparently, to make a huge mistake. But even if you are losing it farm-wise, oh, it's freaking loud. You can win the game by doing this. 500. Oh, is he gonna survive? Really? No, he's not gonna survive. Even if you are... Oh, statuses. Even if you are winning the game, you can lose the game by putting yourself in this kind of situation. If you stop in the middle of a retreat, you're dead. Even in front of your base, he stopped like here. It's like very, very close to your base, like to your prism at least. Now he's dead. His ship is gone, and that gives even more edge to the red team. So it brought the benefit, because if you are retreating, if you are trying to hold position and you have to retreat then you usually are retreating under fire. Because you're fighting, your enemies are pushing, and then you decide, you know what, let's go back, and they are still shooting you, and when they see that you are going back, they are just following you. And if you don't have like huge range edge over them at the point when you say let's go back, they will just catch you and they will shoot you on your retreat and stuff. And if you stop, well, that's obvious. Jesus, what is with all those people coming online? Oh yeah, busy. That's a bit obvious. Yeah, I'll regen. Om nom nom. Gonna have an early night. Anyway. So now the edge is obvious. With 23 minutes in the game, 23 minutes, 23 seconds. Buy some. Okay. That's you know. That's odd. Okay, I'm not sure you can say that on YouTube. Well, actually, why not? It's not so vulgar. So, well, that's a very nice saving vortex. So now, what did they do wrong? Well, they dived. Okay, that's the first thing. What's the second thing they did wrong? Because diving is not entirely bad, but, you know, anyone? Anybody? Come on, people. Come on. Okay. Now, they did not energy deny with carriers. That's simple. I don't care about battlecruiser. It can have a nuke, but no vortex. But they forgot to energy deny the carriers first. Now it's too late. Helldiver, but it's a decent try not to get feedback themselves or locked down. And now they will just go out of there, and they will advance further because they have DPS advantage. So now that we've crossed the line of 1 kill, the game analysis is way simpler. If you're playing on red team, well, you know you have the edge, and you know you have more DPS because you have one more ship. So you either let your arbiter farm, or any ship you want to favor, you let it farm and get OP. OP means overpowered, if you don't know it by now. The OP squad. But you either do this, or you just use all 6 ships to push and gain ground, and you farm at their prison just like red team is doing now. That's very simple. That's where the edge is. That's a very nice lockdown. Now Helldiver is gonna get the hell out of there, and that's exactly it. There's not much more into this game. I mean, those builds. This is a frenzy build, but he still doesn't have frenzy. Maybe Avogadro will get frenzy this back. Let's see. Let's just focus on Leviathan for a second. Let's just focus on those 2 Zerg ships. Now, we've seen 2 kinds of Guardian play. Maybe you haven't noticed it, and now I can't show you unless I will, rewind it, but I don't want to. Ferrado going for missiles, for acid spores, but let's say missiles. And his opponent, it was Arrow, I believe. Yes, he died a horrible and painful death. And Arrow going for Broodlings. Now, what's the difference? Well, first of all, Broodlings go well with Broodlords, so he went for Broodlords. Second thing, Broodlords don't work so well against missile pods and siege mode, and actually acid spray by Leviathan. So let's see. 1, 2 ships to deny Broodlords. especially the Leviathan, because acid spray is very effective against mines and against broodlords. There's absolutely no reason to go for broodlords in this configuration. That's another bad thing done by blue team. I should probably have done the blue team, because there's so many mistakes. Just watch it. They haven't upgraded their missiles yet anymore. They have just level 5, just what they started with. Which obviously means and implies that they don't actually think they are of any use. Well, that's obvious. That's obvious, but you know, you have to do some things, do some analysis to know that, or you just have to watch the games closer as an observer. Now, let me pause. If you guys will be watching an in-house game anytime soon, I dare you, take a look at certain ships. If you know some builds, and you probably know some builds because not everyone here is a newcomer. If you are not a newcomer, take a look at the game and don't do it like yawning, eating, you know, I don't know what, a sandwich or a pizza, and not paying too much attention, just listening to TeamSpeak. No, focus on the game. Focus on clicking on ships, just to see what they upgrade. Because some upgrades are just pointless. Some upgrades are just pointless, and well, they are trying to take down the prison, but they won't. Just like those level 5 missiles. I don't know who thought of this opening, but it didn't work. It can work. Well, there we go. Corruption, frenzy, and rapid regen. That's all a Leviathan needs. Jesus, what's happening? What's happening to me? Nah, just give me a second. I need to get a drink. Yeah, so this is the basic Leviathan build. Actually, I'm not even. Oh, that's a pretty nice vortex, but you know why they did vortex this time. First of all, no energy denial from this team, but second, energy superiority. Again, it comes to play again. They have more energy, they have more farm right now, so they can afford double vortex. Now DST doesn't have a vortex. That's a defensive vortex by status, but he can actually go down. He's corrupted, but he manages to escape. Now it's 5v5. So red team is in a fairly safe situation. No, 5v4. Okay, but red team is in a fairly safe situation at the moment, and Bad Moon stopped. So many mistakes this game. There you go, Leviathan focusing Bad Moon 430, 200. Oh no! Now, what is this situation about? Two ships were caught in the vortex. Let's say those two, or a carrier with a guardian. It surely was a guardian. But now, if you want to go for the kill, and you've seen Bad Moon or anyone stopping, oh Jesus, 3 hit points. Well, you have to follow up. There's a mistake. I don't think they will finish this game here. Nope. And he had to dive in alone. And he's got no energy because he's been denied by DST. If you're a Leviathan, you don't have energy superiority over anyone because you have no energy denial at all. Well, that's red team's mistake. It's still fine. They still have the edge. They are going for the prism now. Again, why they are going for the prism? Well, because if you take down one prism, your enemies have more trouble farming, and your creeps do more damage to your enemies. That's an obvious statement, but sometimes you might wonder, why do we want to get the tower down, one on the second one? Now, taking one tower down is almost always beneficial to your team. Taking 2 towers, not exactly. Why? Well, there we go, there's an example. Imagine that you are playing a game and it's 6 versus 4 in your favor, and your enemies have a destroyer, for example. Now, you destroy both prisms, and you are very happy because they will have problems farming. No, wrong. Because they can just sit in their base and farm very, very nicely. They can farm a fair amount of minerals. Now, if you can't have broodlords, so very nice. Now, oh, one more thing. Missile pods. What are missile pods used for? A little bit of ability analysis here too. Just a short thing. Well, I've already said they are used against broodlords. Well, you've seen it a second ago. They are used to get rid of those pesky PDDs, and that was invented like almost a year ago. Like 9 months ago. That they get rid of the pesky PDDs, so there's one more edge. Arbiter versus a Raven. Arbiter. Force fields don't get destroyed by PDDs. Oh, and now, yeah, this ship is going down. This game is over, so I'm just gonna speed it up. There's not much more to the game analysis. I'll just let you watch it. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's the important lesson about today's game? Well, first important lesson. It's very good game for it. Actually, you know, I picked a very good game, because today's lesson is, if you want to go for something, make sure that it's gonna be useful in late game or even in mid game. You know why? Because this poor carrier hasn't upgraded his missiles for 33 minutes. He upgraded them at first minute, and no more, because they are not useful. The same with this battlecruiser. They are not useful. I know their strategy was to roll red team. That's why the first move was whole team going here and going from the side. But you can't possibly. I mean, look. Let's pause it for a second. When was the first and second? Actually, the second. When was the second European tournament? I would actually have to check it, because I don't remember. But it was a long time ago. Now that is when Rebellion's move came to play. What is Rebellion's move, you ask? Well, if you don't know, then you are a newcomer. But Rebellion's move is going around with a destroyer, armored destroyer. Oh, someone's messaging me. Getting around with an armored destroyer, then telling everyone to warp in, catching, for example, those ships off guard, warping in behind them and rolling them with the armor, tanking with the destroyer, and taking down one ship at least. Rebellion's move gives you the edge, and then you can almost do anything you want, because even if the destroyer won't be useful anymore with the armor, it doesn't matter. We still have 5v5 and you have one more ship, and the destroyer may actually be useful in some way for tanking, for DPS later. So those damage, those upgrades won't go to waste. Okay, let's slow down. So what's the important lesson? Again, one last time. If you pick upgrades, if you pick a ship composition, a certain ship composition, it's very good, very nicely visible here, because those ship compositions were fairly the same, almost the same actually, and you know, you could see it on those carriers now, the anonymity getting level 5 missiles and stuff. But you could see where the edge was. The energy. Blue team simply couldn't keep up with the energy. Why? Because they bought 5 upgrades on missiles, and then they had to upgrade their range just to keep up with red team. Very, very simple and elementary. So if you are picking ships and you are picking upgrades, make sure that unless it's a cheese, a complete cheese, I mean going level 5 missiles, it's not cheese, it's laughable. Unless you want to roll someone, which is not exactly possible. I mean the rebellions move again, tanking destroyers, because on high level people are aware of this. They are. And you can't really surprise too many people with this move right now, especially the more experienced players. It's still very powerful if you manage to surprise someone, but usually it doesn't work, and it's all gone to waste. It's like going for cheese is fine, but going level 5 missiles is almost an all-in. Like you play a melee game, you know what is... oh Jesus, it's a lot of different stuff. You know what is an all-in. For example, Terran all-in. 4 barracks, let's say for three barracks, and there's CVs, and you just attack with some marines and your workers tank your damage for your marines, and then your marines kill everything. You require a bit of micro. It's all in. If you pull your workers off your line and it's not gonna work, you're way behind. GG. That's exactly what happened here. That was like an all-in. It could work. Well, that's finished. It could work, but it didn't. And oh, finally, I got rid of this freaking Starcraft noise. Okay, so finishing in silence. If you are... I'm starting this for a 3rd time. I'm sorry, I'm so tired today. After the whole day, I'm barely making any sense, I believe. But if you can take something out of this video, here it is. If you are gonna pick upgrades, make sure they are gonna be useful in later game, and they won't make you lag behind your opponents, because then you're behind and you're getting even more behind, and it's gonna be really hard to get back to game. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Frosty, or this has been Frosty, coming to you from a little speaker, or actually from Warsaw, Poland. Thank you for tuning in. It was a pleasure to this over 40 minutes video for you. I hope you can take something from this and make your gameplay better, make you be a better player and a better game leader. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good one, and see you next time. Bye.